John's ex, the mother of their 18-month-old baby, says that John shook their after the baby accidentally headbutted. Is that true or false?
I found out I had breast cancer on my birthday.
Hello, everybody. Hello. I'm sorry. I was having some technical difficulties this morning. Good morning, Ashley. I apologize for being late. Good morning, everybody. Come on in. Come on in. Good morning, Anasia.
I'm very grateful for that.
Good morning. I'm sorry about being late, everybody. We are not going to go long today whatsoever. We are going to really just do a little review. That's why the title of this is review. Really just coming on to answer any questions that anybody has from the past three packets. So you should have a packet that says Transcontinental Railroad. You should have one that says Rise of Big Business. And you should have one that says The American City. And so I just wanted to come on, answer really any questions, plug any holes that we have about the packet. My son's coming down the stairs. Come here, Zayd. Come here and say hello to everybody. Or to the 4 people that are in here. Say hello. That's my youngest son. What up, Adrian? Zayd, come close the door for me. Thank you, sir. Any questions? Any questions this morning? Not going over any new content. We'll start new on Monday. I'm probably going to move the time back a little bit. See if we can get a few more people in. So we'll move the time from 9:30 to 10:30 next week. I'm going to post all that in Edmodo. Also put the new PowerPoint. Quessy, what's good, homie? Just here, really just to commune with you guys, see what's happening. Any questions you have for me, just to kind of hold a question and answer period. Not going to go over any new content today. Yeah, okay. Ashley, what's good? What you got? It's on packet 11. Which packet 11? Our numbers are a little off on this one. American City, Big Business, or Transcontinental Railroad? Hey, Anaya. You and the Goof Troop getting in today? I know. I'm sorry, Tony. I'm sorry. My bad. I here for the first time. What up, Shouty? Big Business. Okay. What you got? Those of you who are just coming in, I'm just answering questions from the packet. If you have, so we're going back over all the packets that we've done of this unit. So you should have 3 different guided notes packets, or guided note packets. Um, and so you have one that's titled Big Business, Industrialization, Big Business. You have one that is titled The American City, and you have one that is titled Transcontinental Railroad. Okay. All right, common goals for both groups. Knights of Labor, AFL, an end to fighting to participate in, limiting the workday to. Those three are the questions. So it's okay. No, that's what we're here for. Okay, so let me get to the packet and then I'll see if I can fill you in. All right, rise of big business. Okay, so right there, that last sheet, I think we're talking about. Is that what it is? Knights of Labor. Is that where we are, Ashley? Common goals of both groups. And actually, I think you sent me a message in Edmodo. You posted a question in Edmodo, and I answered that question in Edmodo. I hope you got that response. I commented about the AFL and the Knights of Labor, but I will answer that question here. So looking at the packet, the founder of the AFL is Samuel Gompers, and that's so important to know that. Samuel Gompers. That's Gompers. Samuel Gompers. The workers included for the Knights of Labor, it says skill level. The Knights of Labor were both an unskilled workers and skilled workers. The difference between those, a laborer who can be hired could be any person. They don't necessarily have any training, and they don't necessarily have a particular skill that they've learned. That's an unskilled laborer. They're just a person who, if they have the physical ability to do work, they can do this job. And then a skilled laborer would be someone who has some level of training or expertise in a particular thing. That's a skilled worker. So the Knights of Labor were both skilled and unskilled workers. The American Federation of Labor was just a labor union of skilled workers. They did not allow unskilled workers into their union. Your workers that were included, meaning the demographics of your labor, of your people, really was anyone. Okay, for Knights of Labor. In fact, many of the union workers that are parts of that were part of the Knights of Labor were immigrants. The American Federation of Labor were primarily native-born American citizens, primarily. And then why were they less likely to use strikes? The Knights, it says less likely to use strikes, and I think this is backwards. The Knights of Labor were more likely to use strikes. I think they have those two things backwards, because that was really the only thing that unskilled workers could use in order to get their demands met. And then the American Federation of Labor, Samuel Gompers thought that striking was a low form of collective bargaining, that it was kind of lowbrow. It was kind of immoral in many ways. He thought it was the wrong way to go about trying to get your demands met. So I think those two need to be flipped. So I apologize for that mistake on the guided reading packet. And then the common goals, which is what I think that you're asking me about. They wanted to see an end to worker exploitation, fighting to participate in labor unions, in collective bargaining, and in limiting the workday to 8 hours. So they wanted an end to worker exploitation, fighting to participate in labor unions and collective bargaining, and limiting the workday to 8 hours. Yeah. So hopefully that answers the question. And I realize your question was underneath that, but I just decided to go over that whole section for anybody. All right, awesome. Good. Anyone else? Anybody else? What you got? What you got? What you got? Kind of look through your packets, Transcontinental Railroad stuff. My phone is buzzing off the hook. I don't know who is texting me, but so I keep looking over. Anyone else? Anybody else? Look over your stuff and just make sure that we got everything. Okay. The growth of large companies. I'm going to answer Anasia's question first, and then I'll come back to your second question, Ashley. A trust is a monopoly. A trust is simply when a collection of companies come together to try and dominate a market. That's what a trust is. So it's the same thing as a monopoly. It does and functions the same way. It does what monopolies do. But when a group of companies come together to dominate a market, we call that a trust. The growth of these large companies. Let me see if I can find where you are. Are we still on big business? The growth of these large companies. Oh, okay. Yes, I see. Why was Rockefeller and Carnegie called the captains of industry? The growth of these large companies helped to develop industry, expanded markets, and led to innovations. So the growth of these large companies expanded markets, led to innovations. All those are under the captains of industry. So the growth of these large companies. So as I told you before, there was good and bad. On one side, you had the robber barons. On the other side, you had them as captains of industry. So the growth of these large companies led to employment opportunities. It led to the growth of markets. It led to innovations. And then you have philanthropy, which they gave lots of money to charitable endeavors, primarily education and research. Great questions. Anyone else? Make sure, and we're going through all three guide reading notes, making sure we got everything filled in, and that we're good to go. These are great questions. You are welcome. You are welcome. So glad, we're kind of having the same people who are actually coming to the live chat. I do think that a lot of people are watching afterwards, and I appreciate you guys who are watching afterwards. So, this is working out okay. Guys, I can tell you, we just don't know what's going to happen, if we will be together again or we won't be together again. But once again, don't fear, don't fret, relax, take it easy, and everything's going to be all right. So those of you who watch later on, make sure you go onto Edmodo, put your questions, message me. I'll try to answer your question the best I can. I kind of do the live, and then I jump on Edmodo, and I'm on Edmodo until about 11:30, just waiting for people to answer questions. Sometimes I get it, sometimes I don't. Some examples of Rockefeller. I don't know if I quite understand the question. Yeah, so the vertical and horizontal integration, this is something I'm kind of avoiding talking about on live because I really need to be able to visually show you vertical and horizontal integration. So I'm going to just hold off on that whole little section until I can actually give you a visual to be able to see it. Other than that, guys, you can go on the PowerPoint and you can just read the slide about vertical and horizontal integration and gather what you can from that. And because you really need to see it, and there is a little graphic there that kind of shows it. But I'm kind of holding off on that. That's not really a big point. So don't really worry about the vertical integration, horizontal integration, examples of Rockefeller. Don't worry about that little section of the guided reading packet right now. As long as you know who J.D. Rockefeller is and who Andrew Carnegie is. Actually, I don't know. I don't know that we're going to have EOCs. Right now, all state testing has been canceled. So, trying to schedule it is just impossible right now. Like I said, we don't know if we're going to be out 2 weeks or we're never coming back. And when I say never coming back, I mean coming back this school year. So I don't know. Nobody can answer that question. Anaya, is that good? The Great Sioux War. Okay. Yeah. The Fort Laramie Treaty Agreement is not really important. I will say this for the Fort Laramie Treaty. Don't want to go into a lot of detail about it, but it was just an agreement made between the United States government and the Native Americans that was supposed to protect a certain amount of land for the Native Americans. I don't want to go into any details about the treaty. Knowing that treaty is not important. As long as you realize there were agreements made between the United States and Native Americans to protect a certain amount of land and reserve a certain amount of land for Native Americans to be able to live. The Battle of Little Bighorn is really attached to that because after land incursions by white settlers, you had this Battle of Little Bighorn. So, and I can go over the Battle of Little Bighorn if you need to. We did that in class, but the Fort Laramie part of it is not important. The Battle of Little Bighorn is very important. So the significance of the Battle of Little Bighorn was we really see the Battle of Little Bighorn as the spark. This is the significance as the spark of the Native American resistance. So this is why it was important to the U.S. military. We talked about the fact that over 300, somewhere between 300, 700, maybe even U.S. military personnel were killed at the Battle of Little Bighorn by Native Americans led by Sitting Bull, which you see there on the side of the packet. His name, Sitting Bull. So you really see that as the biggest event in the Native American resistance to white settlement in the West. And then the significance of the Battle of Little Bighorn for the Plains Native Americans is that then after the Battle of Little Bighorn, the U.S. military goes on a massive campaign to capture, kill, and or run out the Native Americans from the Plains area, kind of in retaliation for what took place at the Battle of Little Bighorn. So that the Battle of Little Bighorn part is very important. The Fort Laramie Treaty part is not so important. Don't worry about the cartoon project. We're not going to be doing the cartoon project. We're going to cut things down to the essentials a little bit, guys, just because some people can access the project, some people can't access the project. I have no way of really holding anybody accountable for that. So we're going to kind of hold off on doing some of those projects. Plus, I'm really not there to help you or monitor you as you work on the project. So if I give you a project and then you guys do the project incorrectly, I really can't hold you accountable for that because you weren't able to really get all the necessary instruction and help that you need. Some of you would be fine. Some of you would need a little bit more detail. So we were going to do the cartoon project. We're also going to do the city's writing assignment, but we're going to hold off on doing that for now. Now, I'm not saying that forever. We will do some things and have some assignments that you're going to have to turn in. But right now, I just want to kind of make sure that everybody's okay. We want to continue doing some learning. We want to solidify what we already know and understand, and make things easy on people. That's my belief and philosophy right now. Anything else? Anyone else? Anybody else? Anything else? Appreciate you guys once again just coming in, hanging out with me in the morning time. I know I'm getting you up early. Some of your parents are making you get up early. And they said, I'm good, baby. That's what I like to talk about. Nasia, I appreciate you. I really do. Thank you for helping me out. I said that before. So I can tell you guys, especially those people who've tuned in all week, we are going to move our time. We're going to move our time to 10:30. That may help more people be able to be involved with the live. And So it'll be all good. No problem, Anaya. Anaya, what is your icon? It's a little weird there. What you got going on with that icon? No idea. I don't know who Cameron Johnson is either, but no idea how long we're going to be out. Nobody can really answer that question. Oh, it's a flower. That doesn't look like a flower. Well, I mean, all I can see is probably a little piece of it, but. I'm let me rephrase. I'm not saying we're not taking the EOC. I'm not saying that. I cannot tell you that. Right now, all state testing has been canceled / suspended. So right now, there are no state testing. EOC would be one of those things that's on the table. That doesn't mean that we won't go back to school in a couple of weeks and they come out with a new schedule for how we're going to take EOCs. I cannot answer that question whatsoever. That's well above my pay grade. But as of right now, all those things have been suspended, have been canceled. So don't know. We just don't know exactly what's going to happen. Right now, we don't even know if we're going to get back to school this semester. We don't know how long a road we have in front of us. We will just take it one day at a time and do what we do. And I encourage you not to worry about the unknown. What you don't know, you don't know. Just deal with what you do know, and I'm going to try to be as open and honest as I can with you. Keep you guys informed and keep rolling along in some U.S. history. Anything else from the packet? Anything else? We just want to make sure we have our guided reading packets. Everything is filled out. You feel like you understand everything that you've got there. You can study that. You can continue to go over that. Next week, we're going to move on into the progressive era, one of my more favorite topics to discuss. I really like once we get into the 20th century. Yeah, and then USA Test Prep. The issue I'm falling into USA Test Prep is I can't find the code, and I'm trying to ask some of my other colleagues so that the people who aren't already set up on USA Test Prep can sign up for the class. So, hey, Jordan, you're not just late, you're way late. That's okay. I'm glad you're here. That's kind of the issue with USA Test Prep. So I decided just to kind of just wait on the whole thing, and then we'll come back on Monday. And whether people are signed up or not signed up, I'm going to create a class. You guys can join the class, and I'll start putting assignments in there. And once again, those assignments are not, if you don't do this, you're going to get an F, and it's going to be due by this certain time. It's going to be unlimited, but it is going to be some good practice for you to just kind of keep you guys up to what you need to know. Yeah, a lot of teachers use it, but they give us this code, and it's like Newton 65 or Newton 73, and they keep changing it. And so every teacher that I call and say, hey, what is the code? What's the school code? And then they always go, you know what? I don't remember. I have it written down. It's at my desk. So I'm like, well, that doesn't help me. So I use USA Test Prep, and I've been using USA Test Prep for a long time. So I know how to set it up and all those things. I just need that code. But like I said, next week, I just decided to kind of just wait on it. Next week, we'll definitely have USA Test Prep. Most of you guys are signed up on USA Test Prep anyway. You have a login. You know how to log in. You can go down, find my class, join the class, and start doing stuff. I just want to make sure that I can include everybody, and especially those people who have never been on USA Test Prep. So then I realize that's a minority of students, but we'll get it going. Don't worry. Don't cheer about it. Don't cheer about it. Sorry, and we need to make an account or use the one. You can use the one you have on USA Test Prep if that's what you're asking me about. As long as you can get into USA Test Prep, all you have to do is join the class, and then you'll start getting everything. Anything else from the packets? Any other review we need to do? So if everybody feels good, we're going to kind of tune out then. I'm not going to hold you hostage here. Those of you who are not here in the live session, but you're going to watch the video later on, you can either put comments down at the bottom and I can answer those comments. Right now, Amir, no. I mean, technically, we cannot do that. I can't answer yes to that question. But we do have something in place with USA Test Preps that can help you towards the end of the semester in terms of replacing some test grades or helping some test grades. But like I said, right now, guys, I wouldn't even worry about grades. And I know that's hard to say. Don't worry about grades. Because right now the county has told us we cannot enter grades. So I don't know if your other teachers are entering grades, but this is one of the reasons why I'm not actually giving a lot of just assignments and projects and these other things. And I'm just kind of focusing just on content and you guys understanding what you need to understand. Because what I don't want to see happen is we come back to school in a couple of weeks and they say, hey, EOC is on. And we've been doing projects and doing these other different things, but we haven't really been moving forward in terms of our content. And then we got to rush all this content in at the last minute. So that's why right now, the most important thing for me is just making sure you guys know what you're supposed to know and move forward from there. Okay. But if you are watching this after the fact, post your questions from the first 3 packets of this unit, Transcontinental Railroad, Rise of Big Business, and the American City. Go ahead and post your comments or parts of it that you missed. Some of you weren't here Friday, some of you weren't there Thursday. Anything that you missed, so I can fill you in. And then we will see you on Monday. We will rock and roll and be ready to roll. I'm going to post the next PowerPoint and post the next guided reading for you in Edmodo. Okay? Don't panic if it's not there tomorrow. I'm purposely not putting it tomorrow. I will post it on Sunday so that we're ready to rock on Monday. For another reminder, we're going to move our time on Monday from 9:30 to 10:30. Okay? So if there are no more questions about the packets, it doesn't seem like we do. I'm going to go over and out. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe, take care of each other, and go Hawks.